Hi everybody, this is Crystal. So today I'm going to show you how to make this toddler dress here. Okay, I'll let you see what the stitch looks like. It probably looks kind of hard. It's actually not hard at all. It's pretty easy to do. So I think you'll be able to do it. But that's what the stitch looks like. It's pretty lacy. You might need a slip maybe to put under it, or some type of bloomers or something maybe to put under it. But that's completely, I mean, that's whatever your judgment, whatever you think on that. It is worked in a round completely, so there's no button or anything. There's no clasp in the back. This just slides right over the head. This flower I mentioned in the end, but I got it off eBay. If you look on eBay, you can get all sorts of little flowers for really cheap. So, I mean, I got a ton of them. I encourage you to check them out on there. But it's optional. You don't have to put a flower on it. And now, the size that I made here, following my video and using the exact same hook size that I'm going to show you, this will fit. Evelyn wears a size 3, so you've seen in the picture, it fits her well. I also tried it on my 5-year-old son, and it fits him great too. Up here in the top, the only difference I would do if you're making it for a 5-year-old is make it a few inches longer. That would be the only difference, because it fit him really well. It was just too short, a little too short. So this dress will fit, following my video exactly, using the same size hook, a size 3, 4, or 5. Other than having to add some length to the size 5. That would be the only difference. Now, I don't have any other sizes available other than those. But if you want to try to use a smaller hook, say one size smaller of a hook, and try to make it for a 2-year-old, you can try that. I'm not going to say that it's going to work 100% because I did not try it. But you can. I definitely would not use a bigger hook for this pattern, because then it's going to be too open. So, but this one will fit 3, 4, or 5. Just add some length for the size 5. Okay, set that to the side. I'm going to ask you please not to forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I'd really appreciate it. That way you always get notified whenever I put on a new video or a new giveaway, or I do yarn shopping hauls and stuff, all kinds of stuff like that. So you don't want to miss out on any of that. Maybe if you could give this video a share too on Pinterest or Facebook, I'd really appreciate that. So for this project, I use Caron Simply Soft. It is a medium weight of 4-ply 100% acrylic yarn. Now, you do not have to use this yarn. Any type of 4-ply yarn will work. I usually use the Caron Simply Soft for most of my baby dresses and my toddler dresses, because it has a very pretty sheen and it also has a very nice drape on it. But remember, you do not have to use this one. Any 4-ply will work. Now, there's 315 yards in this skein. I went through one whole skein, and this is what I have left of another. So you're going to need 2 skeins of it. You won't use all of 2, but you're going to need 2 for the main color. If you are making it for the size 5, and I said that you need to make it longer, you'll need the same amount, but you'll use more of it. But I don't think you'll need more than 2 skeins. So 2 skeins of the main color. I used soft pink. Of course, you can use any color that you want. And the trim, I used the same brand, only in white. And you don't hardly need very much at all. So just a little bit. If you have any scraps of that, I'm sure that would be plenty. It don't take much of that. And then I'm going to be using a size I, which is a 5.5 millimeter crochet hook. And remember, this is the size that you want to use, regardless whether you're making it for a 3, 4, or 5 size. Just the 5, you're going to need to make it longer than what I said. But that would be the only difference. So, let's go ahead and get started on it. Okay, you want to start off with a chain of 66. And once you get your chain of 66 made, now without twisting your chain, you want to follow it down. And we're going to slip stitch into the first stitch to form one large ring. So go ahead and slip stitch into that first stitch, just like that, and then we're going to chain one. Now that chain one I did does not count as a stitch. It doesn't count as anything. So we're going to go right back into the same spot that we just slip stitched into and do a single crochet. Now I'm going to work one single crochet in every stitch all the way around. Just like this. Now to make sure your chain doesn't twist on you, what you want to do when you're working this row single crochet, make sure you're either consistently going into the front of the chain or consistently going into the back. You can see that every stitch that I put in is the front of my chain. I don't want to flip it around and accidentally put one into the back, because then my chain will be all twisted up. So that's kind of how I keep my chain from twisting up. I just make sure that I'm going into the front of the chain with every single crochet that I make. So I'm going to continue putting one single crochet in every stitch until I get back around to the beginning. Okay, I've made it back around. At the end of round one, you should have 66 stitches. So you want to go ahead and end with the slip stitch into that first single crochet. Not the chain one we did, but the first single crochet. Go ahead and slip stitch right into it. And that'll end round one. Now round two, we're going to chain one. And again, that chain one does not count as anything. So we're going to go right back into that same stitch right there and put a double crochet. And then I'm going to work a double crochet into the next stitch. And in the next stitch, I'm going to put 2 double crochets into the same stitch. Now I'm going to put 1 double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. So 1 double crochet into the next stitch. 1 double crochet into the next stitch, and then the next stitch I'm going to put 2 double crochets into the same stitch. And I'm just going to repeat that all the way around. So 1 double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. So 1 in the next, 1 in the next, and then 2 double crochets into the next stitch. Repeat it again. 1 double crochet, and then 1 double crochet, and then 2 double crochets. So I'm going to repeat that pattern all the way around until I get back to my starting point. 1 double, 1 double, 2 doubles, 1 double, 1 double, 2 doubles, all the way until I get back over here to the beginning. Okay, I'm coming to the end of round 2, and your last stitch should have had 2 double crochets in it, and you should have a total of 88 stitches now. And you want to go ahead and end round 2 by slip stitching into your first double crochet, not this chain one, but the first double, and that ends round 2. Round 3, we're going to chain 1, remember, which does not count as a stitch. We're going to go right back into that same stitch that we just slip stitched into and double crochet. Now we're going to put 1 double crochet into the next 2 stitches. So counting that first double crochet that we did, we now have 3 double crochets in a row. 1, 2, 3. Now the next stitch is going to get 2 double crochets into the same stitch. And that's the repeat now for round 3. 3 double crochets in a row, and then 2 double crochets into the next stitch. So I'm going to go ahead and put 1 double crochet into the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, and 3. And the next one will get 2 double crochets into the same stitch. Again, 1 double crochet into the next 3 stitches. And then 2 double crochets into the next. And I'm going to repeat this pattern all the way around until I get back to the beginning. So 1 double, 1 double, 1 double, 2 doubles. 1 double, 1 double, 1 double, 2 doubles. All the way around till you get back to your starting point. Okay, I've made it to the end of round 3. And you should have a total of 110 stitches now. Your last stitch should have had 2 double crochets in it. So we're going to go ahead and end it by slip stitching into our first double crochet. Now we're going to make the armholes. So we're going to go ahead and chain 1. And what we want to do is work 1 double crochet into the first 17 stitches. So we're going to go ahead and put the first one right here into the very same stitch. So we need 17. This will be number 1. And then 2. 3. 4, all the way till you get to 17. Okay, I got 17 stitches there, counting that very first one. Now I want to work a chain of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just a normal chain, not a real tight one, because we have to go back into those stitches. Now I'm going to skip 22 stitches. So just count over, starting with the next one that you didn't work in. So we worked in this one, so we'll start here counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 22. Now in the very next one, we're going to double crochet. So we skipped 22, and in the next one after that, we're going to double crochet. So with this chain 6 still on our hook, we're going to yarn over and go into that next one and double crochet. Just like that. So that would be our first armhole here. Now what we want to do is we want to go across the front here, and we want to have 32 stitches. This is going to be our first one. So this would be 1. So 32 double crochets in a row. This counts as 1. Here's 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way until you get to 32. Okay, I've got my 32 stitches across the front. Now I'm going to work a chain of 6 again. And again, I'm going to skip the next 22 stitches. And in the next one, I'm going to double crochet. So I skipped 22. The next one, I'm going to double crochet. And that is our second armhole right here. Now I'm going to go ahead and continue and put 1 double crochet in the remaining stitches. So counting this one, we should have 17 that remain. So go ahead and put 1 double crochet in the remaining stitches. Okay, I went ahead and did a double crochet in my last 17 stitches. Now I'm going to end round 4 by slip stitching into my first double crochet, and now you should have a total of 66 stitches, and that is not counting any of these stitches that we skipped or the chain spaces. So 66 altogether. Now we're going to go around with a row of single crochet. So we're going to chain one, we're going to go back into that same stitch and single crochet. Now I'm going to work one single crochet in every stitch until I get to my chain space. Okay, now when you make it to your chain space, we're going to work one single crochet in every stitch of the chain space. So we chained 6, so we'll need to do 6 single crochets across this chain. So just go right into each stitch, each of the 6 chains. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sometimes that last one's kind of tight, but make sure you get that one. And there's 6. And then we start again. Make sure you get this first stitch here. Putting one single crochet in every stitch again until we get to our next chain space. And then when we get to our next chain space, we just do the same thing. We put one single crochet in each of the 6 stitches of the chain, and then we continue putting one single crochet in every stitch until we get back to the beginning. So I'm going to go ahead and finish that until I get back to my starting point. Okay, I made it to the end of round 5, and you should have a total of 78 stitches now. So we're going to go ahead and end with a slip stitch into our first single crochet. Now we're going to start the dress part. So round 6 starts the skirt of the dress. So what we're going to do is chain 1. Now we're going to go right back into that same stitch, and we're going to work 2 double crochets. There's 1 and 2, and then we're going to do a chain of 2, and we're going to go back into that same stitch and work 2 more double crochets. So that's how we start every row of the dress. Okay, now we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. We're going to skip 2 stitches, skip, skip, and in the next one we're going to work 1 double crochet, a chain of 3, and then 1 more double crochet like that, and then we're going to chain 3, and then we're going to skip 2, skip, skip, and in the next stitch we're going to start over again. So we skipped 2, and in the next one we're going to work 2 double crochets, a chain of 2, and 2 more double crochets, chain 3, skip 2, skip, skip, and in the next one we work 1 double, a chain of 3, and 1 more double crochet into that same stitch, and then we chain 3, skip 2, and then we repeat it again. So skip 2, and in the next stitch we're going to work 2 double crochets, a chain of 2, and then 2 more double crochets into the same stitch. Then we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, skip 2, 1, 2, and in the next one, 1 double crochet, a chain of 3, and then 1 more double crochet, chain 3, skip 2, skip, skip, and we repeat it again. So skip 2 and start again. We work, do it one more time, the 2 doubles, chain of 2, and 2 more doubles, chain 3, skip 2, skip, skip, and in the next one we work 1 double, a chain of 3, and 1 more double, chain 3, skip 2, and then repeat it again. Start with your 2 doubles, chain 2, 2 doubles. So we're just going to repeat this pattern all the way around until we get back to the beginning. And it's going to be kind of bunched up looking. That's fine. That's what we want. So we'll just continue this all the way around until we get back to the beginning. Okay, I'm coming to the end of round 6. I did a double crochet, chain 3, double crochet, and then I have 2 stitches that remain. You want to make sure you chain 3 after that last one, skip those 2 stitches, and then slip stitch into the first double crochet of this first V-stitch here. So that'll end around 6. So what we have here is, I call these double V-stitches because they have 2 doubles on this side and 2 doubles on this side, and then on this one would be a regular V-stitch. So you should have 13 of the doubles and 13 of the regular, or 26 of these all together. So for round 7, we want to slip stitch 2 times until we get to the middle of this first double V-stitch. So slip stitch once and then twice. And then we're going to start again by chaining 1 and putting the double V-stitch right back here into this same chain space. So we're going to do 2 double crochets right through the chain space, a chain of 2, and then 2 more double crochets, just like that. Now we're going to work a chain of 2, 1, 2, and then this regular V-stitch here in this chain 3 space, we're going to work 6 double crochets. So right through the space, we're going to work 6 doubles. So there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then we're going to chain 2, and now we're going to repeat it again. So right here in this double V-stitch, we're going to do another double V-stitch into the chain 2 space. So go right into it and work 2 doubles, chain of 2, and 2 more doubles, and then we're going to chain 2, and now we're going to work 6 doubles into the chain space of this next single V-stitch. So yarn over and go ahead and work 6 double crochets. There's 1, 2, 6, chain 2, and repeat it again. So every time we come up on one of these double V-stitches, we always put another double V-stitch right in the chain space of it. That never changes. It's always going to be a double V-stitch on top of a double V-stitch. The only part that's really changing is this row right here when we do the double or the regular V-stitches. So we're going to go ahead and do a double V-stitch in the chain space of this next double V-stitch. So 2 doubles, chain of 2, 2 more doubles, chain 2, and 6 double crochets into this next single V-stitch. Six, chain 2, and repeat. Double V right here into the chain space of the next double V. So 2 doubles, chain 2, 2 doubles, chain 2 again, 6 double crochets in the chain space of this regular V, chain 2, and repeat again. So I'm going to repeat that pattern all the way around until I get back to the beginning. And remember, it's going to be roughly. It's supposed to be all wadded up. That's how it's supposed to be, so you're not doing anything wrong if it's looking like that. Okay, I'm coming to the end of round 7. I did my 6 double crochets here in this last single V-stitch, so I want to make sure I chain 2. And then I'm going to end with the slip stitch into my first double crochet on my first double V-stitch. And that'll end around 7. Now you should have 13 of the double V-stitches, and you'll have 13 of where we chained 6 into the same spot. I guess we can call these spans, I guess. But 13 of these 6 double crochets in the same spots, shells or fans, whatever you want to call them, and then 13 of the double V's. So we're gonna start again, round 8, by slip stitching 2 times to our first middle of our first double V, and we will chain 1, and we'll work a double V right back here in the same chain space. So 2 doubles, chain 2, and 2 more doubles, like that. Now we're going to work over here. We're not going to chain anything now. We're going to work a double crochet into the top of the first double crochet of this group of 6. So right into the top of it, we work a double crochet. Now we're going to chain 1 and work a double crochet into the top of the next double crochet, chain 1, double crochet into the top of the next double crochet, chain 1, double crochet into the top of the next double crochet, chain 1, again double crochet into the top of the next double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet into the top of the next double crochet, like that. Now we're not going to chain anything now. We're just going to jump over here to the next double V-stitch right here into the chain space and work another double V-stitch. So 2 doubles, chain of 2, and 2 more doubles. So we're just going to repeat this now. So no chaining after that double V-stitch. We come right over here to this shell of 6, and we work 1 double crochet in top of the first double crochet, and then we chain 1, and then we work 1 double crochet into the next double crochet, chain 1, again 1 double into the next double, chain 1, 1 double into the next double, chain 1, 1 double into the next double, chain 1, and 1 double into the last double. And then we repeat. We did not chain after that last double. We just jump right over here to this next double V-stitch and double V-stitch into the chain space. So we work 2 doubles, chain of 2, and 2 more doubles. Do not chain. Double crochet into the first double crochet of our group of our shell here, of our 6 double crochet shell, chain 1, and again double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double, chain 1, double, chain 1, and double into the last. We do not chain 1 after this last one. We just jump right over here to this next double V-stitch and double V in it. Now this is the pattern we're going to repeat all the way around until we get back to the beginning. And then we just start again. So that's what it's kind of starting to look like now. You see the double V's are always lined up, and they will always be lined up the entire length of the skirt. This part is the only part that changes. So go ahead and repeat this all the way back to the beginning. Okay, I'm coming to the end of round 8. I just did my last double crochet here. Remember, do not chain 1 after it. Go ahead and end with the slip stitch into the first double crochet of your first double V-stitch. And again, you'll have 13 double V-stitches and then 13 of these little fans with the 6 double crochets with the chain 1s in between them. So we're going to start round 9, slip stitching 2 times to the first chain space. Now we're going to chain 1, double V right back into that chain space. So 2 doubles, chain of 2, and 2 more doubles. Now we're going to chain 1. Now we're going to work in these chain spaces here. So we're going to jump to our first chain 1 space here, and we're going to do a puff. So what we're going to do is yarn over, go into that space, draw up a loop, yarn over, go into the space, draw up a loop, and yarn over again. Go into the space, draw up a loop, and you'll have a total of 7 loops on your hook. Yarn over, go through all 7 loops, and chain 1. Now that's what we're going to do in every one of these chain 1 spaces. So we're going to yarn over, go through, draw up a loop. You want to do that 3 times total. So that was 1. Yarn over, go in, 2, yarn over, go in again. That's 3. You'll have 7 loops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yarn over, go through all 7, and chain 1. So there's your second puff. Again, we'll do it to the next chain space. Yarn over, go in, draw up a loop. That's 1 time. 2 times. 3 times. 7 loops on your hook. Yarn over, go through all 7 loops. Chain 1. And there is your third puff. Again, yarn over, go into the next chain space. Draw up a loop. That's once. 2 times. 3 times. 7 loops. Yarn over, go through all 7. Chain 1. And again, we'll do it one more time in this last chain space. Yarn over, go right through it. Drop a loop. That's once. Twice. 3 times. 7 loops on your hook. Yarn over through all 7. Chain 1. Now you got 5 puffs there. And go ahead and jump to your next chain space of your next double V and double V into it. So 2 doubles, chain of 2, and 2 more doubles. So that's kind of the repeat for this round. So we chain 1 after that double V, and we jump to the first chain 1 space and we work a puff. So we yarn over, go right into that chain 1 space, drop a loop, and you want to do that 3 times. So that was once, 2 times, and 3. 7 loops remain. Yarn over and go through all 7 and chain 1. Again, we'll do that into the next chain 1 space. Yarn over and do your puff. 7 loops, go through all 7, chain 1. Again, we're going to do a puff in each of the chain 1 spaces. And the next one. Chain 1, and then the last one here. Chain 1, and jump over here to your next double V and double V into it. So 2 doubles, chain 2, and 2 more doubles, chain 1, and repeat. So that's what it starts to look like now. You got your puff stitches there. So we're just going to repeat this all the way around, back to the beginning. Okay, I'm coming to the end of round 9. I did my last puff stitch. I chained 1, and I want to end with a slip stitch into the first double crochet of the first double V stitch. And again, you'll have 13 double V stitches and 13 of these sets of 5 puff stitches. So round 10, we're going to do 2 slip stitches again to our first chain 2 space, chain 1, double V stitch right here into the same chain space. So 2 doubles, chain of 2, and 2 more doubles. Now we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and we're going to work a regular V stitch in the middle of the top of the middle puff. So skip these 2 puffs, and then the third one right in the top of it, we're going to do right there into the top of it. You see the top right there. We're going to do a double crochet, a chain of 3, and another double crochet. Then we're going to chain 3 and repeat. So we'll skip these 2 puffs, and in this go ahead and double V-stitch into the chain space of the next double V. So 2 doubles, chain 2, and 2 more doubles, chain 3, and then regular V-stitch into the middle puff. So you skip these 2, and in the top of the 3rd puff, right here into the top of it, you do a double crochet, chain of 3, and another double crochet like that, chain 3, and repeat it. Double skip these puffs here, double V into the top of the next double V. So 2 doubles, chain of 2, 2 more doubles, chain 3, skip these 2 puffs, a regular V into the top of the 3rd one. So 1 double, chain 3, 1 double, chain 3, skip these 2 puffs, and double V into the top of the next double V. So that is a repeat now for this round. Chain 3, skip the 2 puffs, regular V into the top of the 3rd puff here, or the center puff, 1 double, chain 3, 1 double, chain 3 again, and repeat. Skip these next 2 puffs and double V into the chain space of the next double V. So we're going to repeat this pattern all the way around until we get back to the beginning. And that's what it's looking like. Okay, I'm coming to the end of round 10. I just did my last regular V-stitch into the top of the middle puff, so I'm going to chain 3, and then I'm going to end round 10 by slip stitching into the first double crochet of the first double V, just like that. Now what we want to do now is, for round 11, we're just going to start repeating rows 7 through 10. So now it's just a repeat of rows 7, 8, 9, and 10. So it's a 4-row repeat. So remember, we come back up. Row 7 is where we did the 6 double crochets. Then it'd be row 8 is where we put we did the fan, where we did 1 double crochet, chain 1, 1 double crochet, chain 1, 1 double crochet. Row 9 would be the puff stitch row, and row 10 would be the one that we just did. And then we would repeat it again. Go back and repeat the 6 double crochet with shell, and then the fan with the 6 double crochets. Now for round 11, all we're going to do is start repeating. So we want to repeat rows 7 through 10. So it's a 4-row repeat. So row 7 is where you'd start putting the 6 double crochet shell. That's row 7. Row 8 would be next, and that's where we did the double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1. Row 9 would be the puff stitch row, and row 10 would be the row that we just did. So we would just start row 11 by repeating row 7. So we just slip stitch here and do our double V, then we chain 2, do our 6 doubles, chain 2, do our double V, chain 2, do our 6 doubles, chain 2, do our double V, just like we did down here on row 7, and then we do row 8 again, row 9 again, and row 10. So repeat rows 7 through 10 until you get your skirt part or your dress as long as you want it to be. Okay, I went ahead and did a total of 26 rounds, and that is starting from the very first round. So all the way down, if you count, I ended at 26. You can do it longer if you want, but you want to end in a round that is like this, where you have the single V-stitch and the double V-stitch rounds. So if you do it longer, just make sure you end in this round here. And then I'm going to put some white edging on mine. So I just ended that last round with a slip stitch into that first double crochet of the first double V-stitch, and then you want to clip that yarn off. And I'm going to change to white now. So let me move this out of the way. Okay, I'm going to start my white yarn just kind of back here where we just ended. Here's where we ended. I'm just going to start it in the chain 2 space of the first double V-stitch here. And go ahead and chain 1. Now I'm going to work a shell of 7 double crochets into this chain 2 space. So 7 doubles. And now what I'm going to do is single crochet right through this big chain 3 space. Just go right through it, single crochet. And now I'm going to go to this single V-stitch, and I'm going to work 7 doubles through this chain space here. Just like that. And again, single crochet right here through this big chain 3 space. And I'm just going to repeat that. And that's going to make these shells in every one of the V stitches. This is this, in case you noticed, this is the same size hook that I was using. It's just a different hook. I can't find the one that I was using earlier. So jump right over here to the next double V stitch into the chain 2 space and work 7 doubles. And then single crochet through this chain space here. And 7 doubles into the next V-stitch space. So I'm going to repeat this all the way around until I get back to the beginning. Okay, I've made it back around. I did my last shell, and then I single crocheted here in this last chain 3 space, and I'm back to where I started. So you just want to go ahead and end into your first double crochet of this first shell here. And now you should have 26 shells. And then we can clip that yarn off.
I set it up on the shelf. I gotta go grab the remote.
And now we can hide that tail. I'll do that in a little bit. Now I'm going to go to the top and I'm going to clean up around the neck. So I'm going to start, you want to start with the back side of your dress facing you. So here's the back of mine. You can see where I started. And we're just going to go around the top with a row of single crochet, and I'm going to do it in white. So you can start in any stitch here along the back. It doesn't really matter. Just any of them. Just go ahead and start your yarn and chain 1, and then go right back into that same stitch that you just started in and single crochet. Now go ahead and work 1 single crochet in every single stitch all the way around the whole neckline. And this will clean up the neck, make it look nice and clean. Trying to hide these tails right here as I go. I hate sewing in tails. It's the worst. So just like this, 1 single crochet in every stitch along the neck, all the way around until you get back around the front and back around here to your starting point. Okay, once you make it back around, you want to go ahead and end with the slip stitch into your first single crochet, not that chain 1, but the first single crochet, and then you can tie that off. Should have 66 stitches here because we started with 66, but if you don't worry about it. It's not that big deal as long as you're close to that number. I think I only have 65 actually, so, but I'm not going to worry about that. So now we're going to turn it back over. And let's see. Let's go around the sleeves. I think I'll do that with some white. So let's see. Both sleeves will work the same. You can start on any sleeve you want. Get my desk here. Okay. Pick up a sleeve here. I'm going to start down here first. Okay, you see all the stitches that we skipped on the sleeve, and then you can see there's a double crochet here on the side, and then there'll be the 6 stitches of the chain. I'm going to start here's the stitches that we skipped. And you can see this stitch right here is the double crochet. There's a stitch that one's attached to. It's not one that we skipped, but it's a stitch that this double crochet is attached to. You can see it right here, this hole. I'm going to start right there. You see how this double crochet here is in that stitch? And this is one of the stitches we skipped. It's in that stitch also. You see it right there. That's where I'm going to start my yarn when I do both sleeves. So I'm going to chain 1. Now the sleeves don't have to be perfect either, so if you can't find the exact same stitch as me, it's okay. We're just going along and we're just going to edge it. So I'm going to go back into that same stitch and single crochet. Now we're at the side of the double, so I'm going to work 2 single crochets in the side of this double crochet. So what I'm going to do is just go completely right under the whole double crochet and single crochet 2 times. So that's 1 and 2, just like that. Now I'm going to go to the next stitch here. You see this is another hole right here that we didn't, it's not part of the chain, it's where this double crochet was attached to. Go ahead and go into that and do a single crochet. And now you'll be able to do the 6 stitches of the chain. So just go ahead and do those 6 single crochets of the chain we did for the armhole. I know it's a little confusing, but remember, it doesn't have to be perfect. So now we're over here again where there's a double crochet. Right here is that hole again that the double crochet is attached to. So go right into that little hole, single crochet. Here's the double crochet. Just go right through it, through that whole space, and do 2 single crochets. And then the stitch right here that this double crochet is attached to. You can see here's the top of the double crochet right there. Here's the stitch. Go right into that. And now we're going to work 1 single crochet in every stitch that we skipped, all the way around until we get back to the beginning. I got tails everywhere. Okay, I'm coming up to the beginning. And we're just going to end by slip stitching into our first single crochet right here. And tying that off. Now remember, it doesn't matter if you had you didn't have to be exact around there. That was just edging it. So if it's not, I don't even know how many stitches I have. It doesn't really matter. So as long as it's edged up nice like that, it's fine. Now I'm going to go ahead and do the other sleeve. I'll turn this around so you can see it the same way. Okay, that's it. Once you get both your sleeves done, you can be done. I had this little flower here and I just actually hot glued it on to the back. It'll probably never come off, but this came from eBay. They have all sorts of flowers in case you want something like that. If not, you don't have to put anything on it. But that's it. That is all there is to it. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to check me out on Facebook too. If you post, I'd really like to see a picture of your crochet items. You can post them on my Facebook page. I'll put a link to that below in the description box. And I'll also put a link to my website so you can check that out too. And until next time, have a good day.